Welcome to the Freewrite, a podcast where we dive into the art of storytelling, songwriting, and the creative process. Join me as I sit down with writers, musicians, and other creatives to talk about process, inspiration, and creating something from nothing. If you're an artist looking for community or a fan hungry to hear about the creative process, there's something for you here. Today, my guest is Bianca Azule. Bianca Azule is a pop rock artist, singer, and songwriter based in Orange County. Her music focuses on toxic relationships and emotional patterns and is now moving forward with a more alternative rock pop sound. This was the first time we really ever talked after our mutual friend introduced us, and I'm very glad she did because this is a great conversation that I'm excited for you to hear. So please enjoy my conversation with Bianca Azule. Thank you so much for being a guest on the Freewrite. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So our mutual friend Elise connected us, and I'm just super excited to have you on. I want to start with, if you could just tell me about your path to songwriting.
Well, songwriting is kind of like something that I've always been interested in, but I think I started when I was like 15, 16, and it's kind of been like on and off with being not committed to it, but just like how consistently I was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started being pretty consistent with practicing it when I was around like 21. And then it's just kind of been nonstop with that. And then I guess as of recently, I've been like pursuing it for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So.
I want to start here too. I was looking at your Instagram and I saw on one of your recent promo posts about your new song, High Ground. You said, I wrote this last summer after a little dilemma I was having, and it ended up being a turning point that completely shifted how I approach songwriting. And that immediately got me so curious. I'm curious about like what that was like before, what it's like now, what that shift was, anything there. I'm curious about.
I think with that specifically, like I meant like stylistically, because I started writing like acoustic songs in my room, just like straight up like stripped back like songs on my guitar, and like at that point I had switched to like, how do I put it? Yeah, it was just stylistically because I was doing like a bunch of singer-songwriter stuff, and then I switched to alternative, like pop rock kind of sounding music, and that's like what I've been aiming for since the dawn of time, since I've started doing music, right? And so I think at that point when it shifted, it was kind of like where everything clicked for me, where like, okay, this is the kind of music I want to make for sure.
Interesting.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, totally. Like, it brings up the genre conversation for me, which I always feel weird trying to like put my own music into a genre. It never feels right. So when you go to begin writing, are you like thinking of genre when you start there?
Not necessarily. I kind of go based off what I'm feeling for that day. Like if I want to write a sad song, I'll write a sad song. If like I want to write something upbeat, I'll like go with that. I'm not always thinking genre specifically, I guess, just like how I'm feeling. And then I usually go based on like, what am I listening to and what's inspiring me?
Yeah.
So it varies. It could either be like pop heavy or like singer-songwriter or even like rock. So it's all over the place, which is it's fun.
Yeah. When you sit down to write, how do you put yourself in that creative zone? Do you have a process? Are there steps you do? Is there anything, or is it just like sit down and go?
It's changed throughout the last couple of years. But like typically when I go in like with a session with my producer, David, I'll go in and then I'll give him whatever I'm listening to. Like if there's like a specific song that I have been like feeling inspired by, or just like, I guess stylistically as well, I'll give him that as a frame of reference for what I'm trying to go for. And then he'll like either produce something from like scratch, or he'll bust out his guitar and then he'll play a couple chords. Or like even if I'm having a session by myself, I'll go based off that as well. Like as of late too, it's kind of just been like he'll build something like with the production, and then I'll sit there for maybe like 20 minutes while he's building it, and then I'll bust out my phone and I'll write a couple of things. Or sometimes too, I'll write a bunch of lyrics throughout the week before my session based off like what's going on in my life, or how am I feeling? Always based off how I'm feeling. And it kind of just flows out like water sometimes, which is
Yeah.
really interesting. Um, but yeah, that's kind of the process. It's pretty easy for me.
Yeah. I love that. It sounds like it's a lot of your stuff is done in like sessions with others.
Hmm. Yeah.
And and like so it's more like you phone in hand, lyric
Yeah.
forward, let's get this going.
Basically. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I always think about songwriting as like a three circle Venn diagram of
Hmm.
like lyrics, melody, and then harmonic structure, chords,
For sure.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's how it makes sense in my brain. And most days, I never feel like all three of those are clicking at the same time. I feel like I might
Yeah.
be somewhere in between. How do you view it? Like, are you thinking lyric forward? Are you thinking melody forward? Is it vibe for like? If you were to break it down when you're in that process, what's kind of at the forefront in terms of like importance to you?
I think melody is always kind of like at the forefront for me because I think especially as I'm pursuing it, we have a lot of like fast social media and like
Mm,
attention spans are so short nowadays. And so I'm always thinking, okay, like what's an engaging enough melody that consistently changes throughout the song that's like just as engaging, that'll keep the listener involved throughout the whole like 3 minutes or 2 minutes or however long the song is, right? And then I think second most important for me would be the words because it's different for everybody with like what they pay attention to,
hmm.
right? Like for me, for instance, like when I listen to a song, I'm always like thinking like, do I like the melody first? And then I'll read the lyrics afterwards.
Mm,
And so I guess I kind of like focus on that and that implements itself into my songwriting. And so usually when I write, I'll like mumble a bunch of words and like sometimes the demos don't make sense, but like I'll like fix it like as time goes on because it takes me about like a month to finish a whole production of a song. So
yeah.
I'm not too hyper focused on what I'm saying in the moment. Last would just be like production and then harmonies because you can easily fix that if you're like
Mhm.
working with a producer or like even by yourself. So
On day one of a session, are you trying to come out with like a full demo, or are you like, is there still some like mumbly, I'll figure that out later kind of stuff?
it depends. It
Uh-huh.
depends on like how good of a session it is,
Mm,
right? Because some days I'll go in and then like we'll leave with a really good sounding demo, like production wise, but then like there's like a big chunk that's not even done. Like the second verse isn't even like fully fleshed out. It's just a bunch of mumbles. And then like
sure.
some days, like 2 weeks ago, I left with a fully fleshed demo. Like the song is completely done. It's just getting main vocals on there and harmonies. And so I think it just depends. But yeah, it just depends on the day, honestly.
Yeah. Does I'm always interested with like the amount of time a song takes and that relationship to how much you like it or continue to like it as time goes on.
Hmm.
You, the one that you finished, you said 2 weeks ago, you just like kind of came out of it as a full thing.
Hmm.
Are you still like are you in love with that tune right now, or has it?
Yes. Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
No, yeah, with that one specifically, it was really interesting because I brought two different songs that were completely on opposite spectrums in terms of genre. Funnily enough, it kind of like honed in on like the exact sound that I've been trying to aim for. Because I mean, I don't know how it is for every like artist pursuing music, or even I guess it's different for like a songwriter if like you're just doing songwriting for other artists in general, but I guess I'm trying to make music that I personally consume.
Yeah.
And so that specific session, I like finally clocked in like, oh, okay, this is exactly the sound that I want to like make. And it just it flowed out like water when David made the instrumental and like the lyrics were still a bit shaky for sure. And I had been like editing them these last 2 weeks or last week or so that I've had the demo, but like the whole melody just came out and I was like, oh, that's like so sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine this being a hard question to answer, but I'm curious. Like you said,
Hmm.
you've been kind of editing them the past 2 weeks.
Hmm. Yeah,
Can you tell me about that process? Like it's so different than how I write. I feel like if I don't come out of the like day one with an almost fully formed lyric, I find it so hard to like come back
for
and make
sure.
sense of it. So what does that refining process look like for you?
So it fully involves me just consistently listening to the demo, which I feel like for some people, if like you're stuck, it
Hmm.
could get draining because it's like you're listening to the same thing over
Sure.
and over and over again. And you're just like, this isn't clicking for me. But I I don't really have the intention of I'm gonna fix this lyric immediately. It's just more of like
Mm.
I'm gonna sit with this and I love it, so I'm gonna listen to it because I like it.
Yeah.
And as time goes on, or as like the last 2 weeks have gone on, I'll get like ideas. Like for instance, in this song specifically, I don't remember what I said. Let me pull it up if that's
Heck
okay.
yeah. Yeah, of course.
So initially I had the line, I lose my focus, but I for some reason like the line came up like, what if I switched it to like I can't stomach the locusts? And that
Oh.
like fit the imagery a lot better because the song
Yeah.
is called Zombie.
Hmm.
And so it has like, I don't know. So it fit the theme a lot better than like that line specifically. And like there wasn't anything wrong with it either. It
Sure.
fits. But yeah, it looks like me listening to it consistently and like having zero pressure, and it flows for me. I don't really think too much about it.
Yeah.
That's how it works for me anyways.
Cool. I love that. I have been listening to your stuff. I'm a fan, by the way. I love your
Oh
stuff.
my
I
god.
think it's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah. With Nosebleeds, I didn't catch this on the first couple listens, but you just posted something with like the lyrics there. And so I might have even been like in bed with my sound off and just like scrolling
Hmm.
Instagram and just was reading the lyrics.
Yeah.
And I appreciated, I can't remember if it was verse one or verse two, but like what you weren't just using perfect rhymes. You were using more interesting, not perfect rhymes that I'm always a fan of. And I'm wondering in
Mhm.
the process, like how conscious you are of that.
I think I'm pretty conscious of it.
Mm,
Maybe not like in a nitpicky way or just like a that's what I'm trying to execute kind of way, but
sure.
I think it's kind of always been the way that I've written my songs. And I guess that like makes me feel better because sometimes when I do write, I'm like, it sounds like so basic sometimes because I write
Mm,
like I'm talking
hmm.
sometimes. But I will say I have been using, I don't know if you've ever used Rhyme Zone before.
Hmm.
So I always stray from like the basic rhymes and I use new
Yeah.
rhymes. So that's
Yeah.
kind of like what I go for because it
Yep.
just, yeah, makes it sound more interesting.
It's
So,
more interesting. It is almost always less cliche or just like cheesy or expected. Um,
mhm.
yeah. So I'm a fan.
Thanks.
Okay, we have a guest question from Elise.
Okay.
I texted her and I was like, "Hey, Bianca's going to be on the pod," and she was like, "Can I ask her something?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely."
Okay, cool.
Elise says that you're so good at output and consistency. She's always wanted to ask how you stay inspired in order to be in that constant state of creation, or if at some point you drill yourself even when you're not 100% inspired.
I was actually talking to one of my friends about this the other day because I realized that I don't experience any creative writer's block.
Mm,
And I think that's just because of the length between the time that I have to write and then like the time where I stop writing.
hmm.
Because there even came a point where I was like writing songs like every single day, but that was before I was even writing with like a producer in the room. And
Sure.
so I think what helps me stay consistent is that I'm not consistently overworking myself
Hmm.
with writing, which if I could, I totally would have a session every day if it wasn't so expensive, right?
Yeah.
But I have a session every single week,
Hmm.
but like I only write like once a week. So I think just like that like time frame in itself, it's
Sure.
like it's enough for me to like take a break and like have a breather. And like I do write consistently on my phone, but I'm not like actively like writing on my guitar or anything. So I think that's like what's helpful with me.
Yeah. You mentioned a little earlier that like it sounds like you don't try to put too much pressure on it. and you just kind
Mm-hmm.
of want it to be easy.
Yeah.
Is that just natural how it's always been, or is that because you know what it's like to put a lot of pressure on it and to have the stakes be too high?
I think it's because I placed so much pressure because when so I think before I started working with my current team, I was writing songs in my room. I was like recording them on my microphone, and
Yeah.
every time I sat down, I would have this like consistent like voice in the back of my head like this needs to come out good, if
Mm-hmm.
not better than the last song I wrote like yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really draining. And then when I started working with my friend Aiden, who's an audio engineer, like I was still writing songs like by myself. Like I wasn't writing songs with him. And then I kept having this like pressure, like it needs to be good so he's impressed. Like it needs to be this way. And then when I started writing with David, which was last year, it just like I don't even know when specifically it clicked. I think I got to a point where I was writing so like a lot of songs with him
Mm-hmm.
that it just I started realizing like it doesn't have to be perfect every single time. Like we can come back to it later. I don't even have to like listen to it again. It's just keeping the practice up
Yeah.
to the point where I'm confident enough in myself that like if this one doesn't come out, it'll come out next time.
Mm.
So I think it came from a place where I was consistently like criticizing like my not my skill set, but just like creating this constant pressure and expectation. And then after a while, I just got tired of it, and I was like, it doesn't matter. Like you're just
Yeah.
here to have fun, and it's
Yeah.
something good is going to come out eventually. So
Yeah. That seems the healthiest that it could be. It seems
mhm.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, when you're in those sessions
Mhm.
lately or usually, does it feel like a more like a co-write, or is it more like producer writer collaboration?
Uh, it's usually producer writer situation.
Hmm.
I
Have you
mean,
done co-writes before?
I have,
How,
yeah, I've done
what's your
it.
experience with that?
Oh, it's been so fun.
Hmm.
Um, I wrote with a friend of mine. His name's Michael, and then I've written with another friend. Her name's Marianne Ross, who's also an artist, incredibly talented. And um, it's always fun having a writer in the room, just because, like, it's fun writing by myself. I could totally do it, like, all the time. But
Yeah.
there's always something to learn when, like, writing with someone that does the same thing as you, because it's like that their approach is completely different, or
Hmm.
the way that they write their lyrics is different, or just their process in general. And so when you collaborate together, you can, at least from my experience, they've it's not correction, it's just more of like they offer advice on how they approach the process in general. And so when I see that it's completely different in contrast to what I do, it's like, oh, I can pick this up and implement it when I write on my own.
Hmm.
Or yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun though. I wish I could do it more often.
Yeah. How do you know when a song is done? Both in, I'm curious about it both in like the writing of it, but also in the production and like completely finalizing of it.
um in terms of lyrics, if it makes sense when reading them and like listening to it, then I know it's done. It's
Mm.
super simple, or it's a simple way to approach it for sure. Um, but like it's like I've mentioned before, I don't add a lot of pressure to it.
Hmm.
In terms of production, I think because as of late, when I work with David, we'll, listen back to it, and if it feel, I don't know, I guess I kind of base it off like the way that I feel about it.
Hmm.
And sometimes when we listen to it and like there's like harmonies and like there's a lot of like production going on with like whatever instrumental like we or instruments we put on, and even just like synths or whatever goes onto it. If it sounds put together, in my opinion, like and I like it, I'm like, okay, it's good. I don't overthink it. But then
Yeah.
I will show like my brother sometimes because he's a DJ and he produces his own music as well.
Yeah.
And I like showed him the demo of Nosebleeds before I dropped it. I think it was like maybe a month before. And he was like, this doesn't sound finished yet. And I was like, that's so interesting because I think it's done. But yeah, if it sounds good to me, like I don't really
Yeah.
question it unless I ask for someone else's opinion. But yeah.
Do you show people stuff before it's done often? Like, are you looking for feedback, or are you just kind of like, it feels done, I'm good?
Um, I look for feedback if I hate the demo. Like if I don't like it, like I'll like text with no it's really funny because with nosebleeds, I hated the demo after like I think the third demo. And like I get really bad demo-itis sometimes. And like
Hmm.
because like I after I record the first demo, I get so obsessed with it and I'll listen to it
Sure.
like forever up until the song is done. And then I think with that, like I recorded harmonies with David and I think we did it for like 6 hours and like I left and I was like, I don't like this song anymore. Like it sucks, which isn't true. Like I released it. If it sucked, I wouldn't have released it. But
Sure.
um and I like sent it to like my photographer, I sent it to my audio engineer, I showed my brother, and I was just like, can you please just help me like figure out what's wrong with it? And everybody was saying
Yeah.
like, it sounds fine, it sounds good. And I'm like, okay, that's not helpful at all.
Great feedback. Yeah.
Um but I show my friends all the time
Hmm.
when I'm like really excited about a song. Like I think every time I like leave with a new demo, I'm all, like whenever I hang out with my friends, I'm like, hey, do you want to hear a new song I wrote? And they're like, yeah. And so I show
Yeah.
people pretty frequently, but if I want like advice on it, it's usually like when I hate it.
That's so funny. That's yeah. Hey, I hate this. Will you listen to it? It's so good. Can you talk to me a bit about like visuals for your stuff? Uh, we live in the age of promoing on TikTok and short form video, and like you have to do it. And like people have such different attitudes towards that. And I'm curious what yours is.
Yeah, it's been a love-hate relationship with it just because I think when I first started or when I had my first song and I was about to like release it, I was in a session with my friend Aiden and then like my friend Marianne at the time, she was in that session and we were like finishing up the mix and the master and she was like, "Are you gonna have a music video for it?" And I was like, "What?" Because at the time I just wanted to get music out. I wasn't even thinking about how I was gonna
Yeah.
package it. And like
Hmm.
I think when that conversation came into like the room, it the relationship with it was like a love and hate one because I had no idea like what my brand was
Hmm.
and like I didn't know how to approach it, especially because like stylistically at the time, it like how I presented myself as a person in comparison to like what the music was very different. Like I'm
Hmm.
very alternative presenting, and then the songs that I had at the time were like singer-songwriter and like very emotional and like it just at least for me it didn't mix in the way that I wanted it to.
Sure.
And so I think within the first year of me like learning how to direct a music video and like putting together visuals, like it's been a trial and error. And it always sucked leaving a photo shoot or like a video shoot where I was not happy with what
Hmm.
I initially intended for it to be. And as
Yeah.
like I mentioned before, I had so much pressure. Like it needed to
Hmm.
come out perfect. It needed to like be polished so that I guess people would take me seriously.
Right.
Um, but now that I have like a couple years of experience on my belt, I've kind of like learned that it's not that deep either.
Hmm.
It's all a trial and error. Because I think with each song that I've released, if you've like looked at the visuals, they're all very different.
Hmm.
And I think at the same time, I've had a lot of fun just exploring like different aesthetics and um, just overall like learning how to cultivate a visual that can go hand in hand with like what they're listening to.
Yeah.
And I've been having a lot of fun with it recently because I filmed like my own promo for like my recent song.
Hmm.
And I went to a shoot with like my photographer and I brought my camera and I just like filmed my phone and like the camera as well, and I just edit it on CapCut. And I'm like, this is like low-key fun. Like it's
Nice.
better when there's no pressure,
Yeah,
which has been what I've been trying to practice for myself. But yeah, it's been a love-hate relationship, but it's been really fun.
that's dope. That's
Hmm.
dope. Yeah, I love the lowering of the stakes.
Hmm.
That's I think great advice for all aspects of it.
Definitely. It makes it more fun as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh okay, now time for the slow round. I don't know what to I want to call it the speed round, but I don't want it to be fast. And so but
Okay.
slower, I feel like I need a name for this segment. But just a few questions. What are your beliefs around inspiration?
That's a good question.
I'm happy to tee you up with some thoughts if you need a minute to think about it, but
Yeah, I'd be interested in what your thoughts on first.
what I always say is I quote, damn it, I need to remember who said this, and I put it up, I'll put it up below, and I will not
Uh-huh.
remember who said it, but they said they were asked, do you wait to write until you get inspired? And this author said, I wait to write until I get inspired. Luckily, I get inspired every morning at 9 a.m. And they were like, I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious. I know what that's like to be like, this is my time to write. I'm gonna write something now. And I
Mhm.
also know what it's like to get in my car and be like, I can't wait till I get home because I need to write about what this that just happened. And so I'm
Yeah.
curious what inspiration is like for you. If
Oh
that
man.
helps or makes it harder now
Yeah.
to
No, no, no,
answer.
yeah. 100%. I think as of late, like maybe it's because I practice so much that I'm not even thinking about what's inspiring me anymore. But like
Mm,
when I first started writing music, at least consistently, because I've been writing music for a very long time, but like when Gracie Abrams, are you familiar with Gracie Abrams?
mm-hmm.
Yeah. When she started
Yeah.
coming around, like, and her music started popping off, like, I just remember listening to her first two albums and I'm like, this is so good. Like, I want to write like music like this. And like,
Yeah.
I would write songs, I'm not even kidding, like every day. Like,
Yeah.
I would listen to her stuff, and like just try to imitate like that, like talking listic approach to writing.
Mm-hmm.
And then in comparison to now, I think just because I'm around music so much and it's like a big part of my life that it's just like, or no, not that it's not a big part of my life, but like it's just, I do it all the time now than as opposed to like
Yeah.
when I was just doing it for fun. Um, it's not like a big feeling anymore. I don't know if that's a bad thing, but um, I think, you know what? I think I've been more driven and inspired by just like stuff that happens to me
Mm-hmm.
that I'm kind of like, I just need to vent. So
Yeah.
now it's just become like inspiration is just more of like, this happened to me and I kind of feel bad about it and I just want to write to get it out.
Yeah.
But if there's like a new album by an artist I like for instance, Maggie Linman, she's like a rock artist.
Mm-hmm.
She came out with an album, I want to say like a couple months ago. And I remember listening to it and along with this other artist as well. Her name's Charlotte Sands. She's also a rock artist, and I listened to those two like on repeat for maybe like a week or so, or a couple
Mm-hmm.
weeks. And I like went to the studio, and I was just like, I want to make this like something like this because this sounds so cool. But it's not
Yeah.
like a big feeling anymore, which is
Mm.
interesting as compared like to when I was like so much younger and I was just like doing it for fun, and I was just like, I'm so obsessed, and I want to write like this. So
Yeah.
maybe it's just a maturity thing, but I don't know.
Yeah. What do you find yourself writing about most?
mm, Probably relationships or like yeah, just relationships of any sort, like romantic or like friendships. But I
Mm-hmm.
have been tapping into writing more about myself, which has been really interesting because I've been writing about the same thing for the last 5 years that now I'm kind of like, well, I'm over the situation. So
Yeah.
what else can I write about? And now it's just more of like, oh, I'm writing about my mental health, or like I'm writing about like this specific relationship that I haven't really like touched or ever written about in general.
Yeah.
But typically I will write about just from like romantic relationships because that's like the easiest to write about.
Mm-hmm. Is there a piece of creative advice that you've really resonated with?
Yes. It has to do with like I guess the pressure of writing something like bad,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's a I don't know if Ed Sheeran said it. I don't know who said it. I read it in a book. It's like a music business book, and they
Yeah.
compared songwriting to a faucet
Mm-hmm.
with water coming out. And like when you turn on an old faucet, obviously like all that murky residue, like really bad water is going to come out. And that's like supposed to represent you starting out. And obviously when you start anything out, it's going to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
But as you continue it, eventually the water is going to get clear and all the good stuff is going to come out. So I think
Yeah.
that's really resonated with me being a songwriter, because I feel like as of late, I've grown more confident in my songwriting as opposed to where it was literally a year ago around this time. Not that
Yeah.
it wasn't good at all. It was just more of like, no, I'm confident in going in a session now. And it's like,
Heck
if it's
yeah.
bad, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But I
love
think
that. Yeah. I remember watching that Ed Sheeran interview.
mm-hmm.
I saw him say that like years ago, and I was like,
Okay.
whoa, like hell yeah. And then
Mm-hmm.
I remember too, I was obsessed with Ed Sheeran back in the day, in like,
Mm-hmm.
2012. That's like all I listened to for a few months.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I remember somehow finding on SoundCloud like his demos from when he was 16, and they were so bad. And I remember hearing that as like a 18-year-old and being like, oh my gosh, if Ed Sheeran sounded that bad and
Mm-hmm.
I right now I don't sound nearly as good as I want to, then like maybe there's hope for me. Maybe I can one day be good too.
For sure.
Just
For
turn that
sure.
faucet on and yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, it's like anything in general, like any skill or any creative outlet, like no one's born with like that innate talent. I mean, I know there's some people that are just like really good from the get-go, but like
Right.
it just takes like the drive and like the love for it. And dude, my songs were so bad like years ago. Like I look back
Yep.
and I'm like, I don't know like what I was thinking that day, but like, okay, I'm glad I didn't stop though.
Yeah. My parents just had to move, and I was going through like I had a closet in their place of like just all my old stuff, and I
hmm
found my old like songwriting notebooks of like the very 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 beginnings of me writing, and I like read through
hmm
some of them, and I was like, yikes, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of my parents, my mom is a writer, and she also interviews writers, and
Okay.
she said
Cool.
that she will often get a good answer when she asks. I feel like there's so much pressure now. No pressure. Is there any? What's the worst advice you've ever heard regarding music or writing?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, when she said it, I was trying to think for me too, and I couldn't really. Nothing came to mind, but I wanted to posit it to you to see.
I don't think I've ever gotten any bad advice, if I'm being completely honest.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Do you have a music artist that you've been really obsessed with lately? You
Oh my.
mentioned those two artists a minute ago that just came out with new albums.
Uh-huh. I've been really obsessed with Amira Alfaki.
Mm-hmm.
She's like this, I don't know how to categorize her music, but it's probably like metalcore,
Mm-hmm.
like rock. She's so
Yeah.
good. She reminds me of like Evanescence, and I'm a
Mm-hmm.
big Evanescence fan, so probably her. Yeah, she's really good.
Nice. What is a creative goal of yours?
Um, like in general, or like this year, or
Anything, yeah. Both, in general, whatever.
um, well, I guess like specifically for this year, I just want to release all the songs that I have on my phone
Heck
because
yeah.
last year I only released two,
Mm-hmm.
and I came into like a session in like late November, early December, and my producer was like, "When are you releasing anything we've written this whole year?" Because like I'm not even kidding. I think I've written like 20, 30 songs with him. And he
Yeah.
was like, "You're not gonna release any of these?" And I'm like, listen, like
Oh
I
my
don't know.
gosh. You got to now. This is in the public now. We all
Oh,
know that you have
yeah.
20, 30 songs now.
Yeah,
You
now I
got
have to release everything. But
to.
um, but yeah, well, to be fair, it was like I was struggling with the visual aspect and I wasn't sure how I wanted to
Sure.
like package everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like the goal, just to release like all the songs that I'm like really like confident about. And I think there's like probably like 9, 10 songs that I'm
Yeah.
still aiming to finish. But that or just getting more listeners and
Yeah.
putting my stuff out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going on tour. I'd love to go on tour. That'd be so fun.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Agree.
Mhm.
Any writers or friends or artists that you want to shout out that listeners should check out?
Let me see. I mean, my friend Michael Lito, he's a really good writer.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have like stuff like for himself as an artist, but he does write with a lot of different artists. Like he's written with
Yeah.
like Marianne Ross. She's a really good artist. And then there's this other singer-songwriter that I'm really obsessed with one song. Her name is McKenna Tate. I've
Mm-hmm.
never met her personally, but like she's really, really good. And
Cool.
she's also worked with, I think she works with Michael pretty consistently. So
Yeah.
she's another one.
Nice. And then anything to promote and or where can people find you?
People can find me on Spotify under Bianca Azule or TikTok, Instagram under that same name. And then I'm on Apple Music. And I just released a song called Nosebleeds. And that one's out too.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time, Bianca. I appreciate it. This has been great.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was fun.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for listening to my conversation with Bianca Azule. You can find her music wherever you stream your music, and you can follow her on Instagram and TikTok at Azule Bianca. She's making great visuals to go along with her music, so please check them out. If you enjoyed the episode, it would mean so much to me if you shared it with a friend and left a positive review. Those both really help. You can watch full episodes on YouTube as well. Just search up Travis Barrett and the Freewrite. And if you have the means and would like to support myself and the show even more, you can check out my Patreon page. I post unreleased demos, music recommendations, and bonus content from the podcast weekly. I really want to keep this show going, and supporting me on Patreon is the best way to make sure that it continues. Thank you again so much for listening this far. I really appreciate you taking the time, and I hope you make some time for yourself to create something today.